Hi everyone, it's Claire from Gods and Charms here and welcome to Wisdom from the Cauldron. So you may have noticed we have moved to Fridays. This will be our new permanent day for these videos. I have a cat here, very apt for our video today. Yes, we're moving to Fridays because I was finding it hard to do the filming and I want the schedule to be reliable for you all. Because otherwise I get messages saying, is there a video this week? But on Mondays and Tuesdays I work with my online students up until lunchtime, and then all just the rest of the time, and then the rest of the week up until Friday again it's orders. Then on Friday I do oils and candles and things that I need to make, and I turn the kitchen into a sacred space, so I have more flexibility with what I can do on a Friday. And as of yet I haven't had a chance to do loads of pre-filming or anything. That noise is my cat, if you can hear her, and her hairs are everywhere because she has a little chair here in the hope it will stop her doing this, but she's still doing it anyway because she wants to be centre of attention. It is apt though, as today's topic is about familiars. What are familiars? Do you have a familiar? And just really talking about what it means to have a familiar and what that interaction's like. So let's bust a few myths first, I think. Are familiars just cats? No. I get asked this a lot. Oh, I've got like a so-and-so and I think it's my familiar, but it's not a cat. Doesn't need to be a cat. It's basically pop culture and things like that that have associated witches and cats, and now excuse me, really, thank you, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, it's basically TV and things like that, the association with witches and cats. It's on art, you know, it's nothing to do with your familiar. Your familiar can be a ferret, it can be a hamster, it can be a budgie, any animal species that is in your home or that you interact with on a daily basis, that is living around you. It can be an animal that's outside of your house. For example, I have a friend that she lives out in the country. She keeps a small horse in a field, and she has always been drawn to do all of her workings outside. Even in winter, she does her meditation, her rituals, everything in her field under her oak tree. And her horse is kept in that field. And then she found out it was her familiar through ways we'll talk about in a minute. So, but she is interacting on the daily. But usually it will be an animal in your household. Next myth. A familiar is any animal that is a pet within your house if you are a witch, Wiccan, pagan, however it is you relate. This is not true. The relationship between you and a familiar is a very different thing to you and a pet or a fur baby, however you like to refer to them. And they have a different type of behaviour, you have a different interaction, you have an energy exchange. So it's not the fact that if you have 2 cats and 2 dogs and a rabbit and a budgie, each of those will be your familiars, or you have 10 cats and each of those is your... It would be highly, highly unlikely and rare for you to have a bunch of animals in your home and them all to be your familiar. Normally they come along one at a time. You sometimes do get occasions where you might have 2 or 3 in your household, but that is actually quite rare. So now we've got that out of the way, how do you know if your animal is a familiar or not? Whether it's a ferret, a budgie, a cat, whatever it may be. The most obvious behaviour you're going to notice if one of your animals is your familiar is that when you are doing any kind of working, they will be around you. So if you're sitting down to read tarot or oracle cards, your animal will be there. So I'm going to use a cat for an example because my familiar happens to be a cat. I have 2 cats and 2 rabbits. And she will always be there. since she was very small. I would say she didn't really have any interest for the first 6 months of her life. She was more about, oh, I'm gonna play and I'm gonna like destroy everything and go under the cabinets where she shouldn't be. But once she got over that initial kitten running around phase, she was always there. If I did a tarot or an oracle reading, she was there. If I was doing ritual, she was there. If I was meditating, she was there. Even down to the point that if I was on the computer doing something witchy on there, typing something up for the website, putting new products on, she's there. If I'm making things for customers, she will be around. She's not always allowed right up to it, because obviously you don't want her around things you're sending out. So then but she will be watching me from where she's allowed to be. So it's that interaction with your energy as you're doing anything magical. She's literally putting hairs everywhere. It's just unbelievable. So that's the first thing you're going to notice. The next thing you might notice is you actually being encouraged by them to do magical work, to do your spiritual work. If I have not done any meditation or any spiritual work in a few days, if I've been really busy or if I've not been well or something like that, she will actually start meowing and meowing right around me until I follow her, and then she will bring me to the office, and it's in here that I do all of my spiritual workings, and she'll just bring me here. And it's like, okay, you want to go do office time? We call it office time just because it's in the office. And she'll settle down and she'll be like, okay, off you go, do what you're gonna do. And there she sits. So they do all these little like unique things that's all kind of related to your practice. But on top of that, you usually also have a very strong bond with them all round. So they will be the one of your pets that if you are sick, that they'll be there. If you are having some kind of emotionally traumatic time, they will be there. Interacting with you, always exchanging energy. If I'm not well, she will climb on top of me and automatically know where that problem is, and she will do different purrs, varying in different levels over and over again. It becomes very repetitive and can actually send me to sleep. And animals can give us healing. All your animals can do that, not just your familiars. Animals are very in tune with us and our energy when we're out of balance. So say you have an animal that has no interest in your magical practice, they can still be a very strong healer for you and a support system. So they're not your familiar, because to be your familiar, they would be interested in taking part in your spiritual path and your spiritual practice. But you can have animals that come into your life as healers, that are there to support you through certain times in your life, certain crises, health issues, things like that. And again, it's about energy exchange. So animals can be many things to us. But there is a distinction between a familiar and an animal that's here as kind of a guide or support network for you when it comes to general life things. You right? Yes, I know. Oh, hi. So it's best that I actually interact with her, otherwise she will really start meowing. So, plus I just can't resist, you know. When you have animals in your house, they kind of take over and they become the queens of the house, as it is. But yeah. So the other thing with familiars and all animals, and this is something I was only talking about with one of my students start of the week, and she was asking me, can her cats come in and out of circle? Will it destroy the circle or change the energy if her cats are wandering in and out? Now, this is not a familiar thing. if they, well, it is if they do it all the time. If you, like I say, if they're interacting with you magically and they're always there with you and always coming in and out of circle, or they come in and sit down would be the usual thing, in circle, then that will be familiar behavior. But say one of your other animals comes up and walks right through your circle, that's not going to disturb your practice, because all animals, often people do focus on cats and they have a particular energy for it. It's really hard to explain, but cats' energy is very aligned with magical work. But all animals have a vibration and a frequency that they can move in and out magical circles without causing holes in those circles, without changing the energy in those circles, unless of course they're like coming to your circle and it's a puppy and it starts boing all over the place. That's a whole different issue. But if your animals just generally pass through, that's absolutely nothing to worry about. If your familiar comes in and lays in your circle, you'll often find that it's very soothing for them to interact with that energy, because animals on the whole like magical workings, but familiars, they really, really enjoy it. But they're also giving energy. My familiar will come in and lend her energy to it. So particularly, she loves mantra work. So if I'm doing mantras, I put a little chair, the one she's sitting on now, by the side of me, because I know wherever she's in the house, once I do my circle and I'm in and I've lit the candles and I've done all the like precursory things that you're doing in the beginning, when I get down to my mantras, she will be in. And every single time. So just take a moment to imagine this 108 times. And I actually do several mantras at once, so you could do the math. Every single time she has something to say, and she has a specific meow for mantras. And like my husband keeps saying I should film it, but I just feel that it's like, I may film it one day just for like my personal records, like a video book of shadows type things, but I don't think I would ever share it because it is so magical. And she will meow at a certain point as I say each mantra, depending what the mantra is, and she's lending her energy and raising the energy with me. And when I do crystal grids and things like that, she will come over and touch to the crystal grids, won't you? Do you like crystal gridding? Yes, I know. You prefer mantras though, right? So when you have a familiar, they do all of these things. They'll have their own way of doing it. Your familiar won't do it exactly the same way as my familiar would do it. So you have to really learn your familiar's ways of doing things. Watch them. It's really quite interesting. I have a lot of low down altars, and that's for two reasons. One, because it's practical to sit in front of, and you want to be feeding your altars and doing regular workings. But two, so my animals can get to them. And I have a large bast altar. I have several bast altars, but a large bast one that's low down, and my cats have access to that all the time, both of them, and they will come in themselves, and you will find that they are at the altar rubbing along the edges of that specific altar, sitting in front of it, just looking at the altar and the statues, and they'll just sit there for 5 minutes, just sitting upright, looking at it, and then wander off, and they're done. So it's one of those things to be observant is how you'll notice. A lot of times with familiars, they make it pretty obvious, but some, especially when they're first coming kind of into that, if they don't come in the house all guns blaring, hi, I'm here to do magic with you, and they're more of like growing into it, because you may have had an animal for a couple of years, and then one day for some reason, and obviously there's only theories on this, whether one of your guides came along and activated them in some way, whether they just activated because they knew you were going to need their help. We don't know. But there are many people who will have a animal in their home that they love. It's a cherished pet and they've had it for 5 years, and then on its 5th birthday suddenly it is all about their magical practice, and it will continue like that. So always be observant and aware. Now, does it matter if you don't have a familiar? No, it can become such a focus for people. I know someone that literally accumulates animals because they're looking for their familiar, and it's not something you should go out looking for, and it's not something you should feel upset about if you don't. If you have animals and not a single one of them is your familiar, they are all magical in their own way. And they can all help you. They do help you. I mean, a lot of the reasons we have animals is to help us emotionally and for company. And that is magical. You don't need an animal to give the title of familiar to for it to be a powerful bond for you to have with that animal, and for you to experience things together and to heal each other and to help each other. You may just have a dog that loves crystals. They're not interested in anything else you do. But when the crystals come out, they want to sit the crystals. They want to be around the crystals, because animals can feel that energy and enjoy that energy. So it's not really something I would say be focused on. But if you do have an animal that's a familiar in your home, you are going to notice their behaviour. It's not something you're going to have to like scrutinise to find all the details of. It's just how it is. And working with them can be really beneficial to your practice. Don't just, push it aside. Some people, they'll ignore the behaviour or be like, oh, I'm trying to meditate, get out. Or I'm trying to do my ritual, get out. If your animal keeps coming, it's trying to tell you something. So you want to try and interact with that energy. You want to try and integrate their energy with your energy and find out what that relationship is, because they're trying to lend energy to your working or whatever it is that you are trying to attempt in your spiritual path. You right? Yeah. Good. Yes. I think it's only fitting that you're here today, Yes, I get very distracted though. See, I should be filming, but I just want to distract the kids. But yeah. But like I say, I have 2 cats, and my other cat, she'll come in sometimes and sit there while I'm doing a tarot reading or something like that. She regularly spends time at my best altar by herself. She likes to do it by herself. She's not a do the things with me type of cat. So you can see the difference. If you have more than one animal in your home, you'll probably notice the difference more. I don't know what the word is. Do you want to come up? Come on. Come and say hello. Oh, no, you just want to cuddle me. But the camera's over there. So, this is my cat. Here she is. Let's scoot around. No, you really don't look at them. Okay, scooting this way? No? No, she doesn't. I'm afraid she doesn't want to look at you today. But maybe she will bless you with her look at some time. She's very particular about people that she likes. That's another thing with some familiars, is they are a one-person animal. Yes, one person. I know, you're so beautiful. Is it hard? I have lip gloss on, right? You don't care? That's okay. She very much loves me. I have a, best friend I've been friends with for years, and she doesn't like her. She doesn't really like many people, but you can see with me, she's snuggly wuggly, but other than my husband, no one else can pick her up. Occasionally Auntie Sandra does at the vets, but she gets met with very disgruntled looks. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's now turned into me just rambling about my cat, but I could probably do that for hours about all of my animals because I'm very much an animal person. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? So if you want like just videos of my pets, I can do that. That would take no effort at all, right? I know, you want to go pick cards or something. That's another thing she does. She picks cards. My card of the day, she'll happily pick that for me. So regardless of whether your animal would technically be classed as a familiar or not, if they're into working with you, encourage them to work with you. They may turn out to be your familiar and just not have the confidence yet. That's another thing. Not all animals are really confident. So they may feel drawn to your practice. Oh my God. But they may not actually be interacting. Maybe you don't like the title of familiar. Like I say, we do like to put things in boxes. Are you Wiccan? Are you pagan? Are you a witch? Are you a Buddhist? What are you? We always need to know what everyone is. But what's way more important than the title of familiar is how you realise this is turning into like a comedy video of people watching me pick your hairs off me. Yes, so just interact with your animals, enjoy your animals, invite them into your magical space. They may want to come in, they may not. Seriously, have some fun. Let your pets pick your cards. Get out a tarot deck, get out an oracle deck, lay them out, ask them to pick. You will be surprised. I have done it with my animals, I've done it with friends' animals and said to them, look, just see if they'll pick a card, and they pick really specific cards. It's absolutely great. So interact with them, have fun with them. Don't worry about if they're a familiar or not. If they are your familiar and they are with you all the time, then you are really, really lucky. Enjoy that, love it, love your animals regardless. That's it from me. I'm getting covered in hairs. I've gone off topic. I have no idea what's happening at this point. So hopefully it has given you some information, a laugh at my expense, and a look at my kitty. So I will see you next week. Come over and join the closed group, join the Facebook page. We are working with Bast in the September subscription box, and everyone in my closed group gets pre-orders which open tomorrow. Everyone else, they will be available on the website on the 15th. Of August, when the August boxes go out, which was Sekhmet. Like and subscribe to my channel. Can you say like and subscribe? No? Oh, she may be a familiar, but she can't do YouTube. So that's it from us. Have a lovely day. Blessed be.